Welcome back to the Two-Way Report. It's always a fascinating sight when someone stands up to the ATF, and we're all for it. Absolutely, count us in any day of the week. In today's video, we'll talk about the intriguing incident where Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene interrupted an ATF inspection. This particular event is kind of unusual, as it's not every day that we witness such a large number of agents and some members of Congress making an appearance at some firearm supplier's location. So, let's dive into this video and analyze the situation together. But before we start, don't forget to show your unwavering support for the Second Amendment by giving that like button a solid tap. Together, we can stand up for our rights and continue to advocate for responsible firearm ownership. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of our staunchest allies, recently questioned ATF agents who were conducting an inspection of a gun store in Smyrna, Georgia last March 27th. As a member of the House Oversight Committee, Representative Greene cited her interest in overseeing government agencies and ensuring they are acting in compliance with the law. Footage shared by Representative Greene showed her and other Republican members of Congress speaking with an ATF public information officer at Adventure Outdoors, a well-known outdoors sporting goods store that boasts the title of Georgia's largest and the actual largest gun store in the world. This highlights the role of elected officials in overseeing government agencies and ensuring transparency and accountability in their actions. In the video she shared, she can be seen speaking to some ATF agents along with her Republican colleagues. While the officer stated that the inspection was routine, she expressed concern over the number of agents involved and the fact that many of them were not from Georgia. She also criticized Brandon, stating that whatever it is they're doing is against the Second Amendment. During the interaction, Marjorie Taylor Greene emphasized that she serves on the Oversight Committee and that her colleagues also serve on congressional committees, indicating their responsibility to hold the government accountable. She expressed concerns that the government has been weaponized and emphasized the importance of being there for the people. Later, in one of her tweets, Representative Greene wrote that the ATF showed up with 16 agents, most from out of state, from cities like LA and San Francisco, to inspect Adventure Outdoors in Smyrna, Georgia. She added, "The visit was unprecedented. The sheer amount of agents from the bluest parts of the country is unusual and unnecessary to conduct a routine audit." I can't agree more. Wonder what ATF was really up to that day. Anyway, here's that video I mentioned.
Adventure Outdoors. I mean, this is just a routine inspection that happens in Georgia. You know, we have a lot of FFLs. All the FFLs, in a sense, get inspected some sort of time.
So let me ask.
But they come unexpectedly. It's not, you put it in the books.
But not normal to be out of state. This has got 16 of them, and most of them are all from out of state. That's not normal. That's unprecedented. And that seems to be a change with the Biden administration, who have made their intent very clear. They're against the Second Amendment, and they're making that well known to gun owners and gun dealers. And we don't understand why they leave. We were just saying hello to them, and why they all go get in the car.
The inspectors do not speak to me. That's my job, okay. Or it's the.
But we're not media. We're members of Congress.
And again, they don't know that they're instructed.
No, they knew it. We told them. We introduced ourselves. Told them who we are. It's kind of like, you know, we're represented by the people. We're elected to represent the people. I serve on the Oversight Committee. We all have committees we serve on, and we're here for the people to also basically hold the government accountable. And when the government has been weaponized and people feel like their gun rights are threatened, or gun dealers feel like their businesses are threatened, that's where we step in and make sure that the government is not out of control. And a lot of gun owners and a lot of people feel that way, unfortunately, about your
but
agency,
that's not the way.
the ATF.
Right.
So we were just there just when we wanted to learn. So it was very cordial. You know,
We
we actually had left because we thought they were getting to work.
We
So
they could get to work, and we were nice. Congressman Loudermilk explained everything to them. We were very nice, but there was no reason for them to go sit in their cars.
Well, that's what's told for them to sit in cars until I arrive, because all the inspectors do one thing. They inspect all the FFLs and make sure that they're in compliance. So they've gone over, and this so happened, again, this is a random. This is nothing right out of whack or out of nature. This is one that's only been in business for 6 months.
that's their most new. That's why it seemed like it was unusual.
Well,
How long y'all been in business? For
decades.
25 years?
45 years.
45 years. 45 years.
This is not a new business. 45 years. Their FFL was renewed in September.
Okay.
So this is a
How much
flagship
information do you about it?
type of this business. Their flagship. These owners, I mean, they have basically set the standard on the 4-check system, which makes it completely. It's very odd for them to be treated this way, or hopefully they're not being treated
Well,
this
we
way.
don't.
Adventure Outdoors is a major retailer, and typically in the ATF inspections I've seen at least, they've only involved 1, 2, or 3 agents. However, these facilities are often much smaller. I have yet to see an inspection at a place like Academy Sports Outdoors, so I'm curious about how that will look. In that video we played earlier, Representative Greene is talking to several ATF agents, and she was clearly interrupting their inspection in progress. What are your thoughts? What do you observe? It seems to me that the inspection done by these ATF agents differs depending on what they're inspecting from dealer to dealer. It's important to keep in mind that ATF agents showing up without notice doesn't necessarily indicate anything specific about what's going on. Such surprise inspections could be part of their standard procedure, or they might be responding to a particular concern. Regardless, this situation provides an interesting glimpse into the relationship between firearms dealers, the ATF, and political figures. The process of FFL dealer audits can vary depending on the size and reputation of the dealer, and sometimes they receive advanced notice, while other times they are taken by surprise. However, it seems that smaller dealers are more likely to be noticed, while larger ones tend to have more resources and can even show up with their own team to begin the audit without notice. What is intriguing is the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene became involved in this situation. Apparently, her office received a call from the facilities manager requesting backup due to an unusually high number of agents present for the audit. This raised some questions about what could have prompted the call, such as fear or anxiety on the part of the company. It is difficult to tell if this was an out-of-the-ordinary situation, but it was definitely one of the largest inspections on record. Regardless, the situation raises some interesting points about the process of FFL dealer audits and how they are handled, particularly when it comes to the way that larger dealers are treated compared to smaller ones. So, per Marjorie Taylor Greene, there are many agents involved in the FFL dealer audit who are not from the regional field office, but rather postal agents. This has caused quite a stir in the story, and as a YouTube channel that only focuses on Second Amendment events and anti-gun ideologies, as well as lawmaking and legislation, we have limited knowledge about the details of the audit process. However, if it is normal to have non-local agents involved in the audit, and if not, what could be the reason for their involvement? This raises a number of questions about the audit process, including the criteria for selecting agents and whether there are potential implications for the accuracy and fairness of the audit. It is important to thoroughly examine and understand all aspects of the audit process to ensure that it is conducted in a transparent and unbiased manner. It is fun to speculate about the presence of non-local agents in the FFL dealer audit and draw comparisons to other investigations. These agents are probably working on a criminal investigation that goes beyond a routine audit, which could have been triggered by something that surfaced elsewhere. But this is all just speculation, and further information is needed to understand the full scope and purpose of the audit. Nevertheless, this situation highlights the tactics being used by the ATF in cracking down on federal firearms licensed dealers, which is part of a broader crackdown by the Biden administration. It is important to closely examine these tactics to ensure that they are being carried out in a fair and transparent manner that respects the rights of those being investigated. The current public attention on the FFL dealer audit presents an opportunity to continue the discussion on what the ATF is doing to FFL dealers under the Biden administration's direction. The situation is not simply a routine audit to ensure compliance, but rather an indication of the shifting goalposts for businesses. Previously, most businesses operated under the assumption that they would only face consequences for willful violations, such as knowingly facilitating a crime or falsifying documents. However, this assumption is no longer valid, as the standards and expectations for compliance have changed. It is now necessary for businesses to maintain a high level of vigilance and ensure that they are compliant with all applicable regulations, even if they are not intentionally violating the law. The current crackdown on FFL dealers underscores the importance of understanding the evolving standards for compliance and working to meet them in a transparent and responsible manner. The current situation regarding FFL dealer audits highlights a concerning trend in which even minor violations are being treated as willful and result in zero-tolerance license revocations. This represents a significant shift from previous standards, where only international violations were subject to consequences. Now, clerical errors or other minor mistakes can result in significant penalties, including the loss of a license. This trend raises concerns about the government's ability to gain access to business records and create a national gun registry, as businesses forced to close must turn over their records to the ATF, which then centralizes them into a database. While compliance with regulations is important, it is crucial to ensure that the consequences for non-compliance are fair and reasonable, and that businesses are not unfairly targeted or penalized for minor mistakes. The potential for creating a national gun registry is a serious concern, and it is essential to maintain transparency and accountability in the audit process to prevent this from happening. Another concerning aspect of the FFL dealer audits is the fact that the Brandon administration has eliminated the requirement to destroy these records after 20 years, meaning that they will now be stored indefinitely. This presents a significant risk for FFL dealers who may be subject to audits and ultimately lose their licenses, as their records will remain in the government's database permanently. This underscores the importance of understanding the potential consequences of non-compliance and working to maintain strict compliance with all applicable regulations. In light of these issues, it is important to continue the discussion about the role of the Second Amendment community in this situation and to evaluate whether Marjorie Taylor Greene's involvement was beneficial or not. It is also important to consider how to best push back against the anti-two-way algorithm and promote a fair and transparent audit process. And we have reached the end of this video. If you care about your Second Amendment rights, please share this video with your friends and family. By staying informed and engaged, we can work towards ensuring that the FFL dealer audits are conducted in a responsible and accountable manner that protects the rights of all parties involved. Please like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell too while you're at it. Thanks and have a good one.